Let the bopping begin. Here we go.
Do we bop with it?
You can bop as much as you want. People bop to it.
Or like a snap.
You can snap if you'd like. Hello and welcome to the HR Data Labs Brown Bag Lunch. I'm your host, David Turetsky. Alongside me, my friend, and I'll just say, and I never can get rid of this thing. There we go. My friend, my new friend, who I guess we've now known each other for probably a year or two, more than a year maybe. Carlee Wolfe from Hyatt Hotels. Carlee, how are you?
I'm very good. And we've definitely known each other more than a year. I think we met in like 2021 or something, which then in that time accelerates. Like really I've known you for like 15 years, right?
It feels like it. But wow. It's been a while.
It has been.
So, Carlee, for those people who don't know who Carlee Wolfe is, why don't you give them a little bit about your background?
Sure. Well, you mentioned I work at Hyatt Hotels. I lead our leadership development and org effectiveness group. And I've been in HR my whole career doing similar work. I've worked in for-profit, non-profit, done some consulting. And worked with some really amazing people in my time. So it's kind of me in a nutshell. I live in Baltimore, Maryland.
Go O's.
Yeah, I hesitated for a second. Go O's, and I'm considering converting to be a Ravens fan. So I was going to go Ravens, but it's like I'm still identity struggling with this decision. I'm currently a Bears fan. Identity crisis. We're having it.
Yeah, well, I'm a Giants fan, and I will never cease being a Giants fan, no matter how many times they throw up really bad seasons. Yeah.
It's tough. Well, and I want to go on record because I don't want anyone to think I'm leaving the Bears because they haven't had good seasons. It's really Ravens culture, being in the city, and adoption of a new team.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see. See where the season takes us. Check back.
Actually, you can see right here, I have a Michael Strahan signed helmet. Nice. So
very cool. Now I can't stop. I'm like, you got signature helmets too.
My new background, yeah. Well, there's two helmets. One is from the they're both. These are Penn State helmets, and then this one is Mike Richter from the New York Rangers. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Penn Staters. I got a lot of Penn State fans. I'm pseudo Penn State supporter.
There you go. Pseudo.
I don't know. I was brought into it. You got to help your friends out.
Well, if you've ever gone to a Penn State football game,
on the list. Got to get there.
Oh, you have to, Carlee. Carlee, I can take you. I love it. It's so much fun.
All right, done. I mean, it's like creeping up every year. I just got to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that I'm in New York, it's a 4-hour drive rather than a 7-hour drive from Massachusetts. So.
All right. So will you increase?
Sorry?
Will you increase the amount of games that you go to?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It's so much fun.
Good. All right, I'm happy for you.
So I guess we know what the last thing you'll do for the first time is. Go to a Penn State football game.
Go to a Penn State pending Penn State game.
That's pending. So you have to give us. So Carlee, before we get into our topic for today, what's the last thing you did for the first time?
Yes. Okay. This is gonna sound so this is the last thing that I did that was for the first time.
Yes. So
this is gonna sound ridiculous, I think, but I was in a hot dog making contest this past weekend. It was called the first annual hot dog summit.
Yeah.
And I made my hot dog was called the Be More Buttercup Butter Chicken Dog, and it was a chicken hot dog with butter chicken stuffing upon like a little rice pseudo bun.
That sounds amazing.
It was really good. I spent a week on it, more time than I ever thought I would on any one hot dog. Yeah. But there we were, ran a test event, and hopefully the first time. No, I'm just kidding. Not first time. I placed last. But you know what?
I'm sorry.
My spirit was strong.
Yeah, but you know you had to be in it to win it, and you were brave, and I applaud you for.
Thank you. I need bravery points.
You do. You get kudos for that.
Through it.
No, hey, listen. A lot of people would have been. First of all, a lot of people would have stage fright for it, and then you get people who say, well, I don't know if I'm good at it. I don't know if I'm good enough. Well, you
Yeah,
don't have to worry about that. What you have to worry about is actually doing it, and you did. So that's why
exactly.
you get kudos.
We went for it.
You went
Thank
for
you.
it. Yeah.
And I'll be back next year.
There you go.
Gotta climb the ratings.
Yeah. Well, now
Ratings
you
race.
know. Sorry, this was the first time. So now you know what it took.
Yes.
Now you can get to the next echelon to be,
Yes.
next to last.
And
Then
I'm
you
giving
work your way
myself
back up.
grace. Like I think I entered, I don't think I entered like beginning year. Like I think this crew was ready to go.
Yeah.
So, but now I know. But to your point, now I also know I got to step it up even
You got to
more.
climb the ladder.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
No, I
Don't
know. I
don't
know.
don't put yourself to try and go here. Try to go here, and then you work your way up.
Ooh, I don't. Yes, we could do that. We could do that. I think it's relevant to what we're about to talk about, careers and
Yeah.
jobs. But you gotta shoot. Also, you gotta. I'm like a shoot for the moon type of person.
Well, I'm a stay realistic kind of guy, so
Good. This will help us keep weighted today.
exactly. And that kind of leads into our topic, which is careers in 2025 and how to land that job. And we know it's been an extremely tough year. I mean, think about all of the uncertainty in the markets. And, for anybody who needs to have a macro and a microeconomics lesson for now, this uncertainty is not the friend of hiring.
It's a tough year. It's a tough year.
Very.
Uncertainty of the things that are certain, they're difficult. I think world of work has also just changed in general, changed the market a lot, like who's looking, not looking, etc. So yeah, 2025 for sure, a tough one.
And by the way, who would have thought, Carlee? Yes, we had an election that usually changes things a little bit, but who would have thought that the economy would have been in so much doubt, given that the administration was supposed to be so business friendly that because uncertainty is not a friend of business, no one would have thought that, right?
For sure. And I think as I talk to like friends who are in recruiting, executive recruiting, I think like that's the story. Like if you talk to them in January, right, this would have been like the year, right? We're coming
Yeah,
around, there's some stuff, like
exactly.
good stuff happening. And yeah, a lot of certainty that is then sitting with the business, like businesses. Should we be filling these jobs? What are the jobs? When's good timing? So I think
Right.
this has been a big year of, well, maybe next quarter, like we'll check in on the
Yeah.
market next quarter.
Yeah. Well, a lot of businesses are. They're saying, okay, well, this bill passed, and the tariffs are going to be August.
Yeah,
So, okay, when the tariffs happen, if they happen, because they've gone on and off, we'll see what happens. Well, there's still uncertainty about that now. So it is.
for
It is
sure.
definitely almost not even quarter to quarter. In some ways, it's month to month, right?
Absolutely. Well, and you're talking like, and there's so many examples, right? You just mentioned tariffs. I think of I do some nonprofit work serving on boards, and that's a big conversation, right? Funding, who are you serving? Where is the in that service? Where's the funding coming from?
Right.
How are you thinking about those things? That's one angle. I live in Maryland. Big
Yeah.
impact from federal
The
government,
government.
government
Yeah.
in general. So definitely some big shifts and uncertainty this year. But I do think, and I was going to share, like, we're talking about like uncertainties, and then I also I was thinking about coming into this session, like, how do we think about careers in 2025? I think one of the big things I wanted to start with was kind of like where we're going. Like, it's a tough year. And
Hmm.
if I talk to like friends and people in my neighborhood, whoever, if you're looking or even just thinking about evolving in your career, it's a tough year. And I think
Yeah.
everyone's kind of wondering, like, what's going on. I think we're touching on those things. I think the other thing is just anecdotally, I had some trends that I was thinking about, but wanted to validate this with some data, and I just wanted to like share with folks that in 2025, there's a LinkedIn like global work change report that was done, and they reported that 58% of people globally plan to search for a job in 2025.
Wow.
So just out of the gate, right? Question mark, do we have jobs available? And then yet the market is just like flooded with consideration or actual active applications
Absolutely.
and search.
And
Lots
by
of
the way,
frustration.
that's
Okay,
with an unemployment of, in the US at least, with 4%.
right?
Hey, this is William Tincup. Listen, we did a series for iSolved called Heroes of HR, where we talk to HR practitioners, and these are just your run-of-the-mill, everyday, slogging it out, 300 employees in Cedar Rapids, HR pros. Mostly it's centered around iSolved and what they do with iSolved, but also they talk a lot about kind of the day-to-day rigor of HR. If you're curious about that, search for Heroes of HR wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you.
And I have a lot of theories on this too. I think world of work has changed a lot, right? A lot of people are questioning culture, decisions being made, and also like in the really exciting sense, like the world of work is changing. New skill sets being required, new job opportunities opening up. Can I go do this new thing at another place, or can I go expand my skill set? So, pick a side of the coin that's driving you into the market, but still a lot happening. The other thing that's happening, frustrated experiences. I think we could probably raise your hand if you've talked to someone that had a frustrating interview experience. I was just on a friend group chat yesterday where I had a friend who had been interviewing multiple times, boom, ghosted. So you have ghosting that's going on with there. In fact, 44% of applicants reporting in on that.
I think that's actually relatively low, though. I would think the number would be probably in the 60s or 70s as far as what I've heard.
And it still could be. These are kind of I kind of checked a few data sources, went on the low end, so I definitely think there are cases where it is higher for sure, to your point. And I think that can put a lot of stress and anxiety on folks, right? You're trying to make a life move, a career move. What happened? I thought we were vibing. I thought we had progress here, and then I haven't heard from you.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. There are some people who go through 3 or 4 different levels or layers of interviews.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, literally, nothing. And then you email them a few times and go, hey, that was a great set of interviews, blah, blah, blah. Nothing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense.
No. Would love to stay in touch. No.
Right. Okay, thanks. Hopefully you'll keep me in mind for another job.
Yeah. And keeping to the ghost theme, there's also ghost literal applicants, ghost jobs. Learn more about this in the search. Those are up to 20. Well, this again low end, 20% of jobs posted ghost jobs.
Wow.
Sometimes intentional in filling pipeline, but sometimes just system. Right? Hey, we accidentally post this rec. So folks are applying to jobs that don't even exist. So you don't even get ghosted. You're just in the ghost.
Right.
Out of the gate.
You're poltergeisted.
Yeah, you get excited about exactly. You get excited about something that's not even something.
Oh my gosh. So Carlee, this really does say something though to the process, which is, first of all, it's going to be overwhelmed. Yep. Second of all, it's going to be, it's going to get some drama because you're going to get some people who get desperate, and whenever there's desperation, there becomes drama, and especially when you have people who have families, they've been out of the workforce for quite some time, they're probably exhausted, their unemployment benefits. It just becomes total desperation. And now they're also going to be concerned because of the big, beautiful bill. They're going to be concerned about public assistance and whether or not it's going to be there for them. For sure. And when you share that, there's 2 things that come to my mind on that one. One is, I think the conversation around well-being. I don't. How do you fold that into your experience? So one, certainly desperation, but I also think there's times where you get started, right? You're excited, and then you keep going through. You start questioning, am I even qualified? Do people see me? So whatever that camp is, I think. I always ask people, what are you doing to also take care of yourself? How are you connecting with people, exercise, your own affirmations, and keeping that balance, because it's very real. You bring up, very real component of, it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? It's baseline. Exactly. If you're in the position where you start, you just mentioned, right, there's a real stress of that. So how are you taking care of yourself? We got a question. It's actually from one of my old friends, and he said, do we see ageism as a threat to the Gen X population? And being part of that, yeah. Yeah, it was very interesting. So when I was the little bit, or not a little bit, but this is one of my favorite topics in the research, just to kind of pull some data, and I did find on both sides. So basically folks coming in and in the Gen X boomer, that side of things, and by the way, all on the spectrum, but specifically those 2 ends,
reported ageism in on that experience for sure. So how are we, as you think about where you're targeting and what you're targeting, how does that play in? And one of the things I always talk to people about is like being really intentional about those things.
Yeah.
And so how can you, on one way, and leverage your network, like, and have conversations about like culture, what do companies value? Because if it's not, certainly ageism is a component of something.
Right.
But you want to work somewhere that's inclusive and can see you for who you are. So finding places that connect with you and continuing to go after the roles that, fit with your current experience, expanded experience, etc. But that was an interesting. I'm glad that question came in, because that was definitely something, or is out there. And I think the more we talk about it, number one, naming it, because I think that's part of like taking care of ourselves in this time. But two, how do we also combat that, right? If we are the hiring folks, if we are looking, like, what are the things that we can be doing? And certainly skill sets is one. Right, the world of work is changing. I think even playing field also coming upon us in many ways. Mainly just from, have we done this before playing field?
Right.
But using some of that baseline experience, I think, could be really powerful in that. But what do you think? That's just kind of...
Yeah.
I was not surprised to see it, but surprised to see the stats, like, literally sort of out there to be like, yes, this is absolutely a thing.
I think when you talk to every generation, there are going to be issues that each generation is going to have to deal with. I remember back in the 80s, we were talking about the shift in demographics with the baby boomers and baby bust and Gen X, and what's the difference between Gen X and baby boomers and baby bust, and how we have to serve these now new generations. We still even had the greatest generation in there too, in the workforce. And how these changes in generational and demographic issues, or demographic trends, how they affected the world of work. Mm-hmm. And that's where you started to see things like casual Fridays are more important.
Yeah.
He was wearing suits until then, like every day. And people go like, wow, there was a time when? Yes, there was a time when. Everybody wore hats at one point in time too. Mm. And so consider the fact that this is not the first time we've ever gone through this.
Yeah.
We do. This is evolutionary through all the different generations. But what becomes even more striking is we now have so many generations in the market because people can't afford, people who used to or had thought about retirement can't afford to, because their retirement funds have been slashed or gone.
Yeah.
Because whether there was bad bets in the market or Bitcoin or whatever, they can't afford to be retired.
Yes.
And now with the new Medicaid requirements potentially on work, what are you going to do? And so a lot of people are going to be joining the workforce, whether they're at that age or not, and that puts more pressure. And so my advice to recruiting organizations and hiring managers is stop worrying about the gray hair. Stop worrying about wrinkles. Stop worrying about the longevity of the need. Think about the need and think about the qualifications of the person instead of the wrinkles. Because you're not hiring this person forever anyways. I mean, we all know, let's be realistic. You're hiring for the need now. The need may change next year and you might let them go. So stop worrying about this being a 10-year, 20-year affair. We're not working on employment for life. We're working on employment at will. So
Yeah, and I love that, and I think it's like an extra emphasis too of like where we're changing, right? You can someone can be an expert on something that just started to exist like 6 months ago, like
exactly
as an example, like use that skill set, like think about what they're bringing, and that's obviously like a component of it. But I wholeheartedly agree with you. Recruiters and hiring managers and referrers and networkers. Absolutely. Actually, I'm going to expand the pool. Also networking. Like, how are you also being an advocate for, and not just maybe the age component of it, but different skill sets, experiences, right? I think this is a time, like in market, we can all be supporting one another. Right. And I think that's a good like call to action for all of us. Take that next networking ping. There's always something to learn and gain in that relationship.
But you said something interesting I want to pick back up on. You said that, and maybe I'm reading into it a little bit, but you said that if someone has seen something or experienced something, think about it as being a way in which you could leverage their skills for something else. And I'll give you the example of, remember when Y2K was a big, thrust? We had a very limited time to fix a problem that could have been very, very impactful to our financial markets, and thus everybody's paycheck and everybody's bank account. And all of a sudden, people had a call to action for that. Well, in that same way, there were a bunch of people who dealt with that issue. Now it's 25 years ago and beyond, 30 years ago.
Forever
But
ago.
in that same way, we were looking for people to leverage skills that existed and some that didn't exist.
Yeah.
But we were looking for people whose skills existed but then went away. I would say that AI is going to bring up a new need for being able to not just program but service things that are really unknown to us. So think about those anecdotes. And maybe I'm extrapolating from your comment, but maybe you haven't thought about hiring someone who had those kind of skills before, and you can train them on AI.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Well, I'm going to hone in, I don't know if this is there's like a coming and going of skills. So one,
Exactly.
how do you find, there's something at the core. How do you find folks that have that passion, ability? Because that is also, right, that's like passion for learning, that's continued growth mindset, right? So how are you sitting in that space? Not to mention, they have an enriching career where they've also made those types of moves.
That's
it could
right.
be small, like those nimble changes, or big career swings or shifts, whether it be industry, your job itself, an expertise. I think those are huge wins right now in the marketplace, because that is the space we're entering. Just a lot of coming and going of skills as we move in the market. And this AI continues to change and move stuff so quickly.
Yeah. And flexibility too. Think about how, and I guess you could call it elasticity. There's some elasticity to this stuff, and then there's some inelasticity. There are certain things that we're going to be able to rely on, and certain things we're not. There are components and skills of what people have today that will be leverageable, and some that won't.
Yeah.
And you as a recruiter or talent management leader, and you especially at Hyatt Hotels, you're thinking differently about how you're applying, the requirements of the job, how you're thinking about sourcing jobs, and you're having to solve really complex business problems for every requisition almost, I imagine.
Well, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Because I think there's two camps to this, right? I think there's, especially at Hyatt, we still have some of the core stuff of supporting guests and what they come in, and those things are still so dynamic of having that in-person touch and care. Yet, to your point, there's also sort of, how can we do things better, right? Baseline. But where can we go and innovate and evolve guest experience, what happens in the hotels, how you engage with even booking, right? Name the thing.
Yeah.
All of that comes with skill sets, which are highly needed and evolving.
And not necessarily hotel skill sets or hospitality skills.
Exactly. I was just saying, maybe not even just in hospitality, right?
Yeah.
It could be, and tech's an easy one, but even things like healthcare, right? You could be coming over from that. Think about any consumer product goods coming over from that. There's design elements to those jobs. So absolutely.
Oh yeah. Well, and there's entertainment too. You guys, Hyatt Hotels has a cable TV channel that is on every single TV station when you enter a room, right? And so I'm sure you have to have somebody who does the creative and the production, and you have photographers and who would have thought that Hyatt Hotel? I mean, maybe you outsource this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, you can think about every single experience that a guest goes through.
Yep.
Even to the extent where I don't know. Maybe you guys don't have casinos, but you still have to have. You think about extending into dining and other things, which are part of every piece of that experience that guest faces. And really, you're a microcosm of literally almost everything in the world of people existence, right? You have to have aspirin available for people. You have to have, toilet paper on hand, of course.
Yeah.
So obviously,
I think just for a second on the Hyatt front, one of my favorite learnings when I started working there was I don't know if it was the realization or just the pure appreciation of connecting with folks in hotels and basically explaining how These are people's homes for 12 hours,
Yeah.
24 hours, 36
That's right.
hours. So think about the things that happen in your life. There's a broad range of those things. All of that happens in a hotel. So yeah, you mentioned like aspirin, but it could be an emergency. It could
Absolutely.
be like a family support need, fill in the blank. We are in
Oh, yeah.
service to that experience, so absolutely.
Could be a
That's
wedding.
like, huh?
Could be a wedding.
Oh, could be a wedding. Could be a divorce party. I don't, fill in the
Of
blank.
course.
But I think that's just premiering me on my like fun Hyatt learnings. But you also said something
Yeah.
there that's important that I like talk to a lot of people about, especially if you're in like the job search, job consideration, career evolution. This could be internal or external. I think sometimes the question I like to throw out there is like, what's possible for you, right? And how do you use the intersections of your experience and your passion to open those things up? And so you gave an example of hospitality. I'll pull in on another one. I have a lot of friends who work in sport, very like passion-fueled space, also highly competitive. Well, you could stay in sport. You can also take some of those skills. Like, okay, I did events in sports. I can go work for, I don't know, news production and
Right.
like do events. Maybe
Exactly.
those production, actually in production is about sports, and I can run those
Right.
types of events. I used to, maybe I did.
And that's your passion too.
Huh?
And that's your passion too. So you'd be really good at it.
Yeah. Oh, I love those things. Maybe some of our listeners do as well. But just playing
Right.
on an example, like where are your intersection points in your passions, your experience, and the industries and jobs that exist out there? Because I think what people will find is their target could get much bigger, which
Right.
in back to where we started, a market that's very busy, there's uncertainty. You want to be able to have options, but I don't think we also want to like lose the things that we care about in creating options. So
Right.
leverage those intersection points to open up opportunity and possibility.
I think though, Carlee, and I'm going to not just speak for myself, I'm going to speak for a lot of
Yeah.
people. There's that imposter syndrome, which we
100%.
all suffer through. And that I think you're giving great advice right now, which is don't just put yourself in a box and say, this is who I am. I'm in financial services. I can never be beyond that. Yeah, even though my passion is hockey and, I dabble in, TV production or whatever, or podcasting,
Yeah.
but I love hockey. Why couldn't I go and work for, in my case, the New York Rangers?
Yeah.
Well, you could, but you have to then start doing the research, seeing what's available there, and saying, what skills do I need to add to actually be able to get there? Now, I guess the question is, it's 2025. How do we make ourselves over into being useful in that job so they might take me seriously if the job does exist?
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to expand on too, you mentioned like New York Rangers. You could work for the apparel company that suits up the
That's right.
New York Rangers. You could work
That's
for
right.
the news company. Anyway, expansive.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, how do we prepare for those things? I think I use this term. There's like a component of like AIing the AI, right? So how do we use the tools that are available to us? Job
Right.
descriptions, postings, commentary, things like in Fishbowl, etc. To say like, here are the things I'm interested in. What are some skill? And then I'll just keep like the easiest one, ChatGPT. What are the skill
Right.
sets I might need to evolve that? And start honing in on those things, and then leveraging other tools that are out there. And so much is changing. Like for example, over the past 6 months, I've seen a huge influx of AI coaching capabilities. Things where you could sit down, prep for interviews, or build skills. So back to your New York Rangers example, like, hey, I want to build, I don't know, my podcasting skills for this. I want to go find this AI coach. I'm going to run a mock podcast session. It's going to give me
Wow.
feedback. I'm going to get better, right? I'm just pulling on some examples, but I think the level of development that's out there is also accelerating, like the tools that we have, and can accelerate our skill development. I think it goes back to how do you get targeted in what you're trying to develop, and the resources there for sure. And back to, you mentioned, I think like expanding. I think development is also about expanding. It's not just this one solution anymore. It's not just a class, a podcast. It's on-demand dynamic coaching.
Right.
It's forums where I can connect with other people and learn from their experiences. All of that's just amazing and at our fingertips. But start with getting specific, because that's what will help find an accelerated solution.
On the other side, and
Yeah.
we only have a minute left.
Oh my
so
gosh, flying by.
It did. Well, it's like every time you and I talk, we kind of get into a trance and we just talk, which is
I hope
beautiful.
everyone's been coming along with us.
Jason says, "Go Carlee."
Love it.
Really quickly, you're on the other side. You're on the demand side of talent. If you're going to give them your best advice for people who are looking for jobs right now, what would it be?
I think finding where the intersection of like your passion and experience and where you'd like to go, and bringing that to the table in every sense. How are you tailoring
Completely.
your experience from the resume start to the interview experience that you have to day one? I think that that's a strong thread that we have control over, and I think that also helps with the other side. What can I control and influence? But keep that into, you also mentioned something earlier about imposter syndrome. I think this is also what helps combat that. Like, I am these things, I bring this to the table, I care about this, and I think that that's the best advice that we can all lean into. And it's felt, so you mentioned kind of on the other side, it is felt and understood by the people that are also considering you for employment.
Let me add something to that because it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Don't stop when you get the great news. Keep it going after your first day, your first week, your first month.
Yes.
Because if you slow down or stop, your momentum's gone. You got to keep it going.
Absolutely. Continue to fuel that fire. Our careers and our skills are ever changing every single day. And so if we keep that intentionality and movement, absolutely. Like, it just yields so much for us in enriching our careers, our lives, and, you know, staying up on it.
Carlee, it is always a pleasure to have you on our podcast. You are an absolute star and a gem, and I so appreciate your friendship. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. This was a good chat. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. We'll talk again, I'm sure.
100%.
Take care, and thank you all for listening and for participating, and stay safe.